Maturity and vantage point. So I record these messages from time to time. Lately, I've been doing one almost every day. And I post things. And a lot of it is food for thought. And then there are people who respond to it. And some people are very emotional when they respond. And they give their vantage point. And sometimes, we have people that are there to dispute, and that's fine. And people that are there to ridicule, and that's fine also. And they're there for whatever reason. Now, some people they're doing it for, I guess, kicks. They don't really care about the topic or the video or the post or the meme or whatever it is. They're just bored. And I've been in education for 30 years now. So, I've seen children, parents, administrators, teachers. Education is a very interesting thing. It's a melting pot. It's a gumbo. It's a quilt. All these different people come together from all these different backgrounds with all these different levels of experience. And it's given me a perspective on how people react to information. So I started off saying maturity and vantage point. One of my favorite short stories is a short story called 11 by Sandra Cisneros. And it basically says, when you're 11, when you turn 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And sometimes when something happens, it's that 3-year-old part of you that's crying. And it's okay. And it says it much more beautifully than that. But I wanted to bring that up because I understand that we as human beings are like a collection of nesting dolls. And I even have an activity that I do in some of my workshops, and it's a journal page. And in my planner, it says me and all my levels. And it's a wheel, and it has different areas like financial, social, spiritual, and so forth. And the journal activity is to actually think about yourself. And how old are you in this area? Because just because someone's 25 biologically does not mean they're 25 mentally, emotionally, financially. Just because somebody's 50, again, doesn't mean that they're 50 in every area. We grow biologically without our choice. As long as we're living and we're eating and drinking water and getting certain vitamins and nutrients, we're going to grow. We don't have to put any effort into that physical growth. But mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, all those other areas, they grow through effort and choice. And there are people who get stunted at certain levels. They could be stunted through trauma. They could be stunted through lack of exposure to ideas and information. There's many different reasons they could be stunted. So I'll give you another analogy, which I think is even more able to be understood. If you have two people that start out climbing on adjacent mountain peaks, right? They both started off at ground level. They could see the exact same things. And one person's mountain peak was 20 feet tall. So they get to the top of that mountain peak and they see everything that they can see that they couldn't see on the ground. But the other person doesn't stop at that 20-foot summit. They go to a 30-foot summit. And so when they describe what they see, it is not the same view that the person at the 20-foot summit has. They have 10 more feet of experience and vision. And so sometimes people stop climbing because it's difficult, because it challenges their perception of the world, because they don't want to grow. They don't want to change. And other people, they want to become everything that they can be. And so they keep growing. And the thing that happens as people climb these summits, or as people live their lives and they challenge themselves and they discipline themselves, they change. Their whole perspective changes. You know, I just did a interview recently, and it was about creativity and empowerment. And, they were asking me a lot of questions, but one of the questions was, what about the person that's afraid to kind of come out of their comfort zone, and they have these big dreams and they don't know how they're going to accomplish them? And I'm like, we all feel that way. That is a normal feeling. If you have a big dream, you're not necessarily going to know how to accomplish it, but you have to take the first step. And the thing about accomplishing the big dream is the person who starts the journey isn't the person who gets to the dream. The person who gets to the dream has grown, and they've developed a skill set as they grew that made them more prepared for that dream. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is the person who starts college a lot of times isn't the person who finishes college. The person who starts the journey isn't often the person who finishes the journey, because in making certain choices, in making certain sacrifices, in challenging yourself, you change. Your whole mindset changes. What you can accomplish changes. And I use this analogy. I said, if you were to plant a seed, that seed is going to begin to grow down before you ever really see it grow up.